Joining me now from Alexandria, Virginia, president of the Market Institute, Charlie Sauer. Charlie, thanks for joining me. Charlie, I wanted to get the Libertarian perspective on COVID-19. Obviously, Republicans are up in arms. They think the restrictions are just overbearing. It's a violation of our freedoms. I mean, we have lawmakers in states who are basically telling you who you can spend the holidays with. They don't want you to have more than 10 people at your dinner table. Some politicians are even suggesting that you need to wear a mask in your own home.
Yeah, look, politicians should be able to suggest what you do. Doctors should give you the warnings that you should follow. And strip clubs should be able to stay open. So should schools, and so should churches, and so should the mom and pop stores that are on Main Street. People should be able to make their own choices based on good science, good evidence. But this is why libertarians fight for small government. This is why we think that everybody should fight for small government. Look, Governor Newsom is a big government liberal. He believes in big government. He believes in an autocratic regime taking over California and telling people what equity is all about. But he can't follow that himself. He didn't just not stand up. He drank up at that table. In fact, if you read further into the article, his group was so loud that they had to close the doors, effectively making his indoor dining or his outdoor dining indoor. This is a problem, and this is what the big government left runs into all of the time. The government gets so big that they can't follow their own rules. We need a small government, and we need smart people to tell us possibly how we should act. Maybe we should wear masks. Maybe we shouldn't dine indoors. Maybe we shouldn't go to church, and maybe we should watch it online. But the government making arbitrary decisions is going to make bad decisions every single time.
Yeah, and you were pointing out Governor Hairgel, Governor Newsom of California, partying at a birthday party. They're being so loud. They're obviously not wearing masks because once you sit down, you don't have to wear a mask because coronavirus apparently doesn't spread if you're putting food in your mouth. But if you're standing a couple feet away, you have to have a mask because that makes a difference. So again, these rules are so arbitrary, and the lawmakers who are telling us what to do don't even follow them themselves. So as just a regular citizen, it makes you question how serious is the virus. I'm not downplaying the virus. It's obviously it spreads very easily. There have been over 250,000 people in this country who've died of coronavirus. But what does it say about the virus when these lawmakers are literally just making a mockery of it? And it's a real slap in the face for Americans who see these politicians who can't follow their own rules.
You're onto the right track here. The problem is that COVID is real. COVID moves from person to person very quickly. COVID-19 is something that we don't really have a full handle on how it passes from person to person or how fast it travels from person to person, or for that matter, what populations are really at risk. But we do know that certain populations are more at risk than others. And with that knowledge in hand, we have a pretty good idea of how we should act given the fact that we don't have a vaccine yet and that we don't have a vaccine that can be delivered to people for likely about another year. And so, look, people need to understand what it is that they need to do to protect themselves and their family. But governors keep coming out with plans that keep changing. As a family, it's hard to keep up with. As a business owner that has liability problems, it's almost impossible to keep up with. And that's why, again, the smaller the government, the more people take the personal responsibility to pay attention to what their own risks are and what they're willing to take as business owners, what individual families are willing to take. But as long as we have the government keep changing the game on us, it's hard. Look, my kindergartner was supposed to go back to school this week. And because of rising numbers in Virginia and an arbitrary line set, we had to tell her this week that she wasn't going to go to school at the end of the week. That was heartbreaking. But the worst part for me as a libertarian is the arbitrary numbers that were set. We don't really know if those numbers mean anything. We don't know if they're important, but we have teachers unions we're dealing with. As a family, if we wanted to send our kid back to school, we should be able to do that. If the teachers believe that it's safe for them to show back up to school, they should be able to do that. We should be able to start making these decisions and living our lives the way that we want to live them.
Yeah, and we went from 15 days to flatten the curve to now like 8 months of just complete chaos and nonsense. So I have a feeling that more Americans are going to wake up and they're going to demand more freedom, and they're going to want to demand that they make decisions that are best for themselves and for their families. Well, Charlie, we're out of time. Thank you.
Thank you.